1 year ago, my wife cheated on me. Then she blamed me for it. Then she pushed me to agree to an open marriage. Then she left for a week to be with a 23-year-old she met on Snapchat. Then she came back and told me in painful detail how much better he was than me. Then she ended our marriage. Then she brought him to live with her and our 2 toddlers. Now, 1 year later, I'm sitting here reflecting on how I went from being a stay-at-home dad trying my best to being divorced, blamed for everything, and watching a stranger become a father figure to my children. This is my story, and if you're going through something similar, I need you to know you're not alone.
I'm 30 years old. My ex-wife is 29. We have 2 toddlers together. And 1 year ago, everything fell apart. Let me walk you through exactly what happened, because the timeline matters, the details matter, and maybe hearing my story will help someone else who's living through their own version of this nightmare. Fall of 2023. That's where it starts. I lost my job. Now, I wasn't working full-time to begin with. I was only working 15 hours a week. The rest of the time, I was being a full-time stay-at-home dad. I took care of our children. I cooked. I cleaned. I stayed up with them at night when they woke up. She came home every day to a clean house, happy kids, and dinner ready. That was our arrangement. That was what worked for us. When I lost even those 15 hours, she told me we would be fine. She makes good money. She assured me it wouldn't be a problem. She told me not to stress. So I thought things would be okay. I kept doing what I was doing, taking care of our children, maintaining our home, being a parent, being a partner. But I noticed her acting differently. Something was off. Something had changed. Call it intuition. Call it paranoia. Call it whatever you want. But I knew something wasn't right. One day, I got the courage to look at her phone. I didn't want to invade her privacy. I felt terrible about it, but I had to know. And there it was. Her so-called friend and her had been sexting. But that wasn't even the worst part. They were talking behind my back, talking about me, saying I was worthless because I wasn't providing for my family. She was telling this guy that I was a failure, that I was inadequate, that I wasn't man enough because I didn't have a job.
She never brought any of these issues up with me, never had a conversation about how she felt, never gave me a chance to address her concerns. She just went straight to complaining about me to another man and entertaining his attention and sexting with him while I was home taking care of our kids. When I confronted her, do you know what she said? She told me she was going to divorce me if I remained unemployed. That was her ultimatum. Get a job or lose my family. So I got another job immediately. I did what I had to do. And she told this guy it was over, that she was choosing her marriage, that she was done with him. I thought that was the end of it. I really did. I thought we'd addressed the problem and moved forward.
December of 2023 comes around. We decided to get drunk one night and reconnect, try to remember why we fell in love, try to rebuild what had been damaged. At this point, we hadn't been intimate in over a year, so this was supposed to be our fresh start, our reconnection. She spent most of the night on her phone, texting someone. When I asked who it was, she said, "Don't worry about him. He's just a friend." Those exact words, just a friend. She drank too much. We didn't end up doing anything. She went to bed, and as I'm cleaning up, checking on the kids, I checked her phone again. I know that's not great, but I had to know.
This just a friend and her had been hardcore sexting all night, right in front of me, while we were supposed to be reconnecting. I mean, very detailed messages about what they would do to each other. Pictures and videos were being sent back and forth, which explained why she kept going to the bathroom every few minutes. She was in there taking content for him, while I was out here thinking we were having a romantic evening together. I woke her up, confronted her. She denied it, said I was making things up. Then she changed her story and said she thought she was texting me all night, that she was so drunk she thought I was the one she was sexting with. Then when that excuse didn't work, she tried to offer me intimacy right then and there, as if that would fix what she'd just done. I just left. I walked out. I couldn't even look at her.
Things were tense for a while after that. Understatement of the century. We were living in the same house, but barely speaking. A few weeks later, she admitted she messed up. She said she was wrong, but then immediately blamed it on me. Said it was because I didn't have a job for those 3 months I was unemployed. Said that's what drove her to seek attention elsewhere, as if losing my job justified her betrayal. New Year's Eve comes. We finally had intimacy again. We told each other that 2024 was going to be the year we fixed ourselves, the year we became the couple we used to be, the year we saved our marriage. Was that ever far from the truth? January, February, and March of 2024. We spent those months having relations once a week, going on dates, exploring things together, trying new things. I thought things were going great, really great. I thought we'd turned a corner. I thought we'd survived the worst of it and come out stronger. I was genuinely happy, hopeful even. April hits me with a curveball. She told me she was unhappy. With life, with our kids, with her job, with our marriage, with everything. I asked her to talk about it, to work through it with me. I asked her to go to counseling. She said no. She wanted to just get away for a week and think, process her feelings alone. I said, okay, whatever you need, I'll support you.
Now, here's another important detail. Around March, we had talked about opening up the marriage. It started as a conversation about maybe having a threesome someday. Then it evolved into potentially sleeping with other people. I wasn't really for any of it. I have jealousy issues. I know that about myself. I'm not wired for open relationships. But she kept pushing. She pushed me to agree to the threesome idea, and then she pushed me to agree to her being with another man. I told her no, multiple times. I was clear that I wasn't comfortable with it, but she claimed that one night when I was drunk, I said yes, and according to her, that meant she had permission. That one allegedly drunken yes overrode all my sober no's. That's the logic she used.
So she met this guy, a 23-year-old, 7 years younger than her. She found him on Snapchat, and in June, she left for a week to spend time with this just a friend. She had relations with him, and when she came back, she told me about it, in painful detail. She described everything they did together. She told me how much bigger he was than me, how much more he pleased her, how much better the experience was. She wanted me to know exactly how I measured up, or didn't measure up. When she came back from that trip, she told me she was done with our marriage, that she wanted a divorce, that she'd found someone better. And as if that wasn't devastating enough, I started finding things. Receipts she kept that showed the adult toys they bought together. A photo strip of them kissing in one of those mall photo booths. A love letter he wrote her. Each discovery broke my heart a little more. Each piece of evidence made it more real, more permanent. And she, to this day, claims she didn't cheat. All because we had that conversation about potentially opening the marriage. She says that conversation gave her permission, even though I repeatedly said I wasn't comfortable with it, even though I never gave genuine consent. She doesn't see what she did as betrayal. She sees it as something she was allowed to do. What makes it even worse is what she doesn't know. She doesn't know how easily you can find things on the internet. I have the video recording of them inside that photo booth, making out, telling each other I love you. Keep in mind, they had only known each other for 1 month at that point. 1 month, and they're saying I love you, while she's still married to me, while our kids are at home without their mother.
And speaking of our kids, that entire week she was gone, I was home, being the parent I've been for 4 years. Our youngest had a fever of 102 degrees for a day and a half that week. I was the one staying up all night, monitoring the temperature, giving medicine, providing comfort. She was off with her Snapchat boyfriend. She didn't care. She didn't check in. She didn't ask how the kids were doing. She was too busy with him. July of 2024, she brought him out here, to our area, to spend another week with him, right near where I was living, where our kids were living. And by August of 2024, the divorce was filed. I had moved out of our home, and her new boyfriend, this 23-year-old she cheated on me with, this person she had known for only 3 months at that point, had moved 14 hours to live with her and with our 2 toddlers. Let that sink in. A stranger that my wife had known for 3 months moved in with our children, became an instant father figure, slept in the bed I used to sleep in, lived in the house I helped pay for, played with the kids I was raising before he even existed in our lives. Trust me when I say that made things get ugly with the divorce. Very ugly. Now here we are, 1 year later, and she blames me for everything. She told me all the cheating, all the betrayal, all the lies were because I didn't work for those 3 months. When I called her out on that excuse, when I reminded her that I was being a stay-at-home parent, which is also work,
She changed her story. She said it actually stemmed from issues in the last few years, that she'd been unhappy for a long time, that it wasn't really about those 3 months at all.
She told me she hadn't loved me in years. She told me so many hurtful things, things designed to cut deep, things meant to make me feel small. She constantly blames me for all her problems, for her unhappiness, for her decisions, for her affair, for everything that went wrong. According to her, none of this is her fault. It's all mine. And the irony? I wanted none of this. All I wanted was her. All I wanted was to save our marriage, to keep our family together, to work through the problems, to go to counseling, to fix what was broken. She was the one who gave up. She was the one who cheated. She was the one who chose a stranger over her husband and children. But somehow, I'm the villain in her story.
So here we are, 1 year later. Her boyfriend and her broke up right before Christmas. Thank God that person is finally gone from my kids' lives. Our divorce finalized at the end of May this year, so it's officially over. The marriage is done. The paperwork is signed. The life we built together is dismantled. And I'm left picking up the pieces, trying to co-parent with someone who sees me as the enemy, trying to move forward when I'm still processing what happened, trying to heal from a betrayal that she refuses to acknowledge, trying to be a good father when I'm barely holding myself together. That's my story. 1 year after she cheated, 1 year after she blamed me, 1 year after she brought a stranger into our children's lives, 1 year after everything fell apart, I'm still here, still standing, barely, but I'm here.
If you're going through something similar, if you're being blamed for your partner's cheating, if you're watching your family fall apart and feeling helpless, I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know it's not your fault. Losing a job doesn't justify betrayal. Having problems doesn't justify cheating. Being imperfect doesn't mean you deserve this. And if you're the one doing the cheating and the blaming, if you're the one rewriting history to make yourself the victim, I want you to know that years from now, when your kids are old enough to understand, they're going to remember who was there. They're going to remember who took care of them when they were sick. They're going to remember who chose a stranger over their family. And they're going to ask questions you won't be able to answer.
If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below and tell me your story. Have you been blamed for your partner's cheating? Have you watched someone move on so quickly it made your head spin? How did you survive the first year? What got you through it? We share real stories like this every week. Stories about betrayal, survival, co-parenting after infidelity, and somehow finding a way to rebuild when everything falls apart. If you want to see more content like this, visit our channel and turn on notifications. Remember, being blamed for someone else's choices doesn't make those choices your fault. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.